So, good morning or good evening. My name is Raul Martinez, and welcome to the Blackletter Brunch. My presenter today is Billy Ola Hutchinson. Billy Ola Hutchinson is a San Francisco-based interdisciplinary artist inspired by beauty in its many forms. Primarily a calligrapher for social occasions and a lettering instructor at San Francisco Center for the Book, Billy also engages her art and fashion design background to expound on all manner of beauty. A BFA graduate of San Francisco Art Institute, Billy translates studied subjects, painting, drawing, collage, digital media, photography, and art history into current and ongoing projects. Billy's mission to combine all areas of interest into an ephemeral experience, because a curious and creative mind is never bored. So go ahead, Bill. I'm going to let you take the stage. I'm going to spotlight you. There you go.
Thank you, Raul, and thank you everybody for having me. Let me share my screen here. Oops, that's not what I want. Jump into the end. There we go. So I'm Billy Ola Hutchinson, as Raul mentioned, calligrapher and artist. And welcome to my desk. I've been practicing or trying to practice calligraphy since preschool. My mother was a first grade teacher, and she has excellent penmanship, and I was inspired from an early age. She and I would practice the letter forms, and when we left Hawaii to come to California, my third grade class, for some reason, offered an elective course, and calligraphy was one of the choices we had to choose from. And I was going to die if I didn't get into that class, but I'm still alive because I got into that class, and I've been practicing calligraphy ever since. Fast forward to about, 20 some odd years ago, I was working for a friend of mine, Bill Haskell at Aria Antiques. And this was in Upper Grant in North Beach in San Francisco. And he had this wonderful repository for all things ephemeral, from antique nibs to paper ephemera and wood type, metal type, furniture, just all things that were just beautiful and resonated with me. He would go to France periodically, and at the time he needed some assistance. So he asked if I would fill in for him for a couple of months. It turned out to be about 2.5 years of filling in, but I was able to meet a lot of wonderful people, calligraphers, art dealers, stylists, all sorts of creative folks. In fact, Ward Dunham, calligrapher and thug, was one of the folks that I met during my tenure at Aria Antiques. So it holds a very special spot in my heart, as does Bill. And this is just one of many of the antique documents that would come in through his shop that I would find inspiration from. I wanted to buy everything in the store, but unfortunately I have to eat, so that wasn't possible. But I did glean a lot of inspiration from being in the space. I also started my professional career through some of his contacts. So there was a group of fantastic and talented women in Berkeley under the umbrella of Addison M. Papers. There's Julie and her two daughters, Geneva and Marina. They're printmakers, antique dealers, and artists in their own right. I had done a open and close sign for Bill in my penmanship, and the ladies saw it, and they thought that maybe I should do it for their clients who are having weddings. And it took them about a year to convince me to actually do it. I didn't think anybody would pay for it. I don't know. for some reason, I just did not believe them. After a year or so of them um, not pressuring me, but encouraging me to just try it out, they got me a few jobs, and one of them was to create a custom menu and in a choral theme. So I went on a choral tangent and did a line of stationery um, and an entire alphabet um, based off of kind of a choral motif. And then it just kind of spread out from there. I created a petite line of stationery that I sent to about 13 different retailers throughout the United States. Um, I didn't hear back from any of them except for one who happened to be Wanda Wen. She's a luxury stationer out of West Hollywood, California. She had this beautiful boutique on Melrose, and she was opening up a shop in shop within Gump's. At the time, Gump's was at 135 Post Street, but her little shop was going to be on the back end with a maiden lane entrance. So it was kind of like a a freestanding stationery store inside of another store next to their existing stationery store. So a little convoluted, but a lot of fun. And she brought on my line of stationery, and she was also looking for a manager to run her shop. Unfortunately, I had to turn her down as I had another commitment. But later on that year, it was 2005, her manager that she brought up from Los Angeles did not like our gloomy weather up here. I think in part because his tan was fading, and it's just a bit too cold for someone who's used to so much warmth. After he departed, I came by to drop off some samples, and she told me that she was looking for someone again, and I said I'm available, and I'd be happy to fill in. And so began my employment at Gump's, which it's about 18 years now. So she brought on my petite line of stationery, and I also did custom work for her and through the store. Her shop and shop lasted for about 2.5 years. And then Gumps took back all of the leased department spaces so that it could just be just Gumps. Unfortunately, we had to pack things up and send them back to Los Angeles. But I had endeared myself to the store and the associates and management, and the then CEO and store director created a position for me to keep me on. So I was able to stay on and work in other capacities. I also did a porcelain line with Gumps. So here on the left is a line of mugs that we did together. And I don't have a photo of this, but I also did a little dish with a gold initial. And it was fun working on this. The designers wanted to clean it all up, but I had gone to great lengths to make it the lettering bleed, because I wanted the porcelain to kind of look and feel like paper. So I wanted very kind of roughed edges, and I tried different inks, and I tried different papers, and went through a lot of trial and error in order to get the effect that I wanted. And it was pretty funny that at the end of it, they wanted to clean it all up. I was like, no, that's the whole point. I want it to look like it's hand done, and I want to transform the porcelain into paper. That's the whole thing about it. And whenever I would deliver my order to the store or to anyone, and I still do this to this day, I go to great lengths to wrap it up and present it, just to further the experience of it, because it's the anticipation of unwrapping something it's exquisite. I love unwrapping things, but I think I have more fun wrapping than the and that's something I was able to do with Sulip. She also had a wide range of beautiful papers, and we would do all sorts of custom gift wrapping. I think the largest thing I wrapped was a a Buddha that was probably about, I don't know, 2.5 inches high. And it's quite a feat. Also, while at the store, I would try to tie different departments together using photography, and the photography would be used in digital media, trying to encapsulate the essence of the store. So here's a promotion that I was championing between the jewelry department and stationery department while still tied in the tabletop department. So you see here brooches by designer Russell Trousseau, a card that was designed and illustrated by me, and utilizing Faber-Castell products. And you can see my little porcelain mug hanging up there in the corner. So trying to do as many tie-ins as possible since we're a multi-departmental luxury store. So on to some projects. These are some of my own personal projects that I've done in the past. One of my favorites is the calling card. So before the telephone, and I'm sure most of you know this, so I'm just going to put it out there just in case. Before the telephone was invented, there were calling cards, and it would just have your name on the card, since there really wasn't much else to share. So I wanted to try and bring that back. And my husband was able to secure my name as my phone number in the 415 area code. So that's my calling card. And it takes a little bit of explaining. So whenever I'm in a social situation, I have to kind of jump through some hoops to kind of convey all of the nuances of this tiny little card. So on your keypad, there are a set of numerics, and under each numeric, there's a set of alpha letters that correspond to each numeric. So in 415, MR MS Billy turns into 415-672-4559. So there it is my phone number and my name. Also, when say the Victorian era or so, calling cards also denoted your station or stature in society. So I have listed the various sizes that are attributed to the child, a single woman, a married woman, a man, and a married couple. So my card is the size of a single woman. So with Mr. Billy on there and a single woman size card, it's a little gender bending because I bend gender so much. My card should do the same. The card that we typically give out the most, which I think has become standard, is the men's card. And you'll see that listed here. So I'm pretty geeky when it comes to all of this. So I've got about 10 different colorways to color coordinate with whatever I'm wearing for the day. So there's that. And then I also sometimes like to give a person a card that color coordinates with them. So I try to have a selection, or I try to be prepared when I go out that I'll have the right card for the right time, for the right person, for the right situation. During lockdown, that was a challenge. And I don't know, it was bizarre, weird. I did a lot of cooking, and I tried to figure out some projects that would be interesting. Seems like mask making was a big thing and a necessary thing. So I thought I'd turn it into an art piece, utilizing semi-precious and precious gems to kind of evoke the preciousness of health. And I've done a small series. I still have more to go, I think, of masks utilizing different materials. So this one is my viral mask. It's on a linen base, and the the beads are pearls, and then the one dot is red coral. And this was my first, so it's a little wonky. Part of me kind of wants to go back and redo it, but we'll see. I also have done a vote and graduated coral beads. And this happened to be in a show last summer, Calligraphy in the public library. So thank you so much for having me there. It was a fantastic event to be a part of. This one is Love, done out of freshwater pink pearls. Slightly graduated, but not as graduated as the vote. And then this mask was for Black Trans Lives Matter, and it's done out of black jade. And then the T for trans is done out of a graduated black spinel. Another project I like to do, and this is what I do mostly for people, but not to this extent, are place cards. It seems like nowadays people don't really want to spend too much money on calligraphy, and I find that a lot of clients have sticker shock when you give them the quote. But I do have some regular clients that will call me up for a party or an event where they need some place cards. Well, for my own entertaining, I thought it would be fun to do place cards with the silhouettes of all the attendees. So for one Thanksgiving, I asked everyone to submit their profile to me, and I was using spode china. So I wanted everyone to be dressed appropriately. So I took liberties with their silhouette, giving people hats and longer wigs, and just really done it up so that when we set the table, it was all very cohesive. And what was great was after the Thanksgiving, seeing people's profiles on their fridge. So if I ever make it to the fridge, I'm more than ecstatic. At the Center for the Book, I've been teaching there for about a little over 10 years now. And it's pretty much a crash course in lettering. The first night we cover Blackletter, the second night italics, and then the third night is my take on spin Syrian, copperplate, hybrid. It's everything all at once. It's kind of a riff off of my third grade elective course, where we, during the 1 week we had our elective, we pretty much learned everything, or at least sampled it, which was great. Hopefully students, take it and run with it. Some have, and I see them moving on, and others, I see them out and about, and they're like, I'm not practicing, but I will, I promise. So it's fun to see. This might look like a non sequitur, but at the end of my class, I always like to host a tea party. Being Polynesian, it's all about food, but being Caucasian and living in California, I don't know, Polynesian food doesn't always go over very well. So a tea works well for most folks. And it's just a nice way to end a course. So on our last night, we do tea and calligraphy. And this is from one of our last nights. And what's so special about this particular tea is the pastries are all from Bee Patisserie. And that wasn't by chance. I actually had one of the pastry chefs in class, and she wanted to learn better penmanship. So when she iced a cake with a greeting or a salutation, that she would have a better hand at it. So it was wonderful because they used to make my favorite cake, which is the black chocolate cake. that you see in the center of the photo. And that's how I'll conclude our meeting, is with our tea and calligraphy. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
Not so much a question, it's more applauding you for having tea instead of coffee at the end of a session. Being English. Yes, cheers.
Somewhere in my DNA, I'm English as well. English, Scottish, Irish, German, but I'm mostly German and Hawaiian. Oh, and I think I'm Scottish somewhere too. I think that's what Hutchinson
Heck of a mixture.
is. Yes, a little bit of everything.
Mm.
Sorry. Oops, I'm sorry, Billy. I meant to stop your sharing. I
Oh.
stopped the video. Sorry.
I can't, I'm not sure how to, I don't see my cursor.
Let's see. You could stop your sharing. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. Now,
Have you stopped my sharing?
I stopped your sharing, so now you should be able to see your cursor.
Okay, let's start my video. There we go, and I'm back.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Please.
So you started calligraphy in 3rd grade. My God, that's early. My God, I thought I started calligraphy early.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
How does 3rd grade equate to age? Because it doesn't mean anything to us in England.
Oh, let's see. 3rd grade would be, I think, maybe about, is that 9?
9. Same as me then. That's when I started calligraphy.
But no, I'm not as far along as I'd like to be. I don't know. I have too many interests, as you can well see, and spread a little too thin to dedicate all my waking hours to lettering. So I don't know. I'd like to be further along, and I'd like to have a deeper, more meaningful practice. But I'm grateful for the practice that I do have, and the students that I get to be with, because I get to tell them all the things that I tell myself. You need to practice, and it's been a fun ride, and I love that it's already obsolete. Because digital media, it seems like once you learn something, it's obsolete, and then you have to learn something new or buy something new that's more to it. Like computers, you always have to buy something new, but your pen and ink, they never fail you. It's always there, and you know what it does. That's what I love about it so much.
There's always more pens to buy though, or
That's
different inks or paint, you know.
I
Or you
think
can have your own paper, your own pens.
and your own ink.
Oh, sure.
I think I might be up to 100 inks now.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but I can't stop buying them. I need to start using them up.
The black profile place card. Oh, this is Barry, by the way. Very nice presentation, very imaginative. The black profile place cards, did you design those individually?
Yes. So
Wow.
I took everybody's profile photo, and then I sketched their headgear, and maybe if they'd need a ponytail or whatever it is, and then augment their outfits to look a little more 1700s or early 80s. And after sketching all of that out, I transferred it to construction paper, and then cut it out with an X-Acto, and then I penned their name.
How
And
many were there?
what? Sorry, Barry. What was that?
How many were there?
I think 13.
Oh, that's not so bad then.
Not so bad, but it was a nice keepsake. But what was funny was, my friendship pool, not everybody's artistically bent. And I think one gal, she's in finance, And she said, "Why did you make me look like Mary Poppins?" And I'm like, I would be more flattered if you said Jane Austen.
Mm.
But when I went to her house, I found her profile on her fridge. So I guess ultimately she did like her Mary Poppins.
Well, she shouldn't complain. You could have made her look like Janet Yellen.
There you go. Called artistic license.
Yeah.
I liked your alphabet. Was that digitized as a typeface?
I'm so antiquated and it hasn't been. I thought about it for a while and I just can't. I don't know. I need to think about it some more for another 20 years. I think I did it maybe, yeah, it's probably coming up about 20 years ago. I did that alphabet. So I should probably digitize it and make it work. Literally make it work. So I can get some.
That would make a nice display typeface.
It was cool. I used it for initially for client's menu. So each, I guess, item on the menu started off with a coral letter, and then later on I took it into my own line of coral stationery for entertaining. I think Grendel might have a question.
No, I'm just promoting
Oh.
self-promotion.
Oh yeah, I will. Yes, we can talk about that.
That little dish that went with your cups, could you show that to us again? Pretty. And is that black or gold?
It's gold. So initially I wanted the mugs to be gold, but gold was expensive and they were trying to hit a certain price point. So it's always challenging working in a collaborative environment, especially when you're the artist and you have a vision of your own and you're working with a company that mostly buyers are not always artists themselves. So they look at spreadsheets, they look at year to dates, they look at what's selling, what's not, and they have their own agenda as to how things should be. So the mugs came out black, which is fine because I love black and white. And I wish they could have matched, but I don't know. There was something special about the gold because you could use it as a ring dish. I use them for butter pats, small canapes. I don't know. I find small dishes indispensable. Actually, I find dishes, period, indispensable. Hence the tea.
The client often says, "Oh, we really like this, but we can't use it."
Yeah. Yes, that's very true. But it was great, and it had a nice run. It was interesting to see what letters were more popular than others, just based on needs. And once it was discontinued, oh yeah, that was not fun. Watching yourself be put on sale on clearance, that was a little hard. But what was nice was when clients would come back and ask for another mug because they chipped theirs and they loved their S mug so much, and they've already created these memories out of it. It was cool to be a part of that, even on such a small scale. I go to friends' homes that I've gifted these to, and they have them squirreled away in their china cabinet, and they never use them. And I'm like, why don't you use them? I'm like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to chip them. It's like, well, you chip them, you just buy another. Well, not the same, but something else.
I'm kind of fascinated. I am fascinated by the work that you've done in beads to do calligraphy because I had never seen anything like that before. And I was wondering where you got the idea to do it and if you're planning to do anything other than masks with that.
That's a good question. So during my tenure at Gumps, I moved from various positions. So I originally started out as a Sulip at Gumps manager, and then they created an assistant store manager for me and position for me. And then towards the end, they added on a focus of fine jewelry. So fine jewelry became my baby department, whereas before it was stationery and fragrance and food. So while I was in fine jewelry, I was exposed to more gems and jewels. And also when I transitioned, because I used to be a little more male presenting in the past, I had to kind of switch things up a bit quickly. So upstairs in the jewelry office, they had a lot of material of which was available to us to purchase. So I needed to switch out my neckties for strands of beads, and I couldn't wear costume jewelry while being the assistant store manager for a jewelry department. So I needed like real deal. So I started making my own necklaces out of the material. So I had a cache of material after my departure, after the closure of the 135 Post location and prior to the restructuring and rebuilding at the 250 Post location. So I had this cache of material, and during lockdown, I was trying to figure out what I could do with the material and with calligraphy and with mass and how that would all work out. So that's why I was able to, I guess, work with those pieces. And I haven't thought about how it would translate to other things, but I've been toying with how to use it in textiles. Like I would love to make a broadside quilt in black letter, and then maybe a black letter dress. But it needs to all be pieced. So, no cheating, no applique. I think it'd have to be. So in my little mind, it's just, I don't know, it's all these puzzle pieces. But yeah, it would be cool to maybe do it, an alphabet maybe on a jacket or on a dress or something. But I don't know, the expenditure might be quite a bit because I don't have that access any longer to such wonderful material. So it might be plastic.
Yeah. Well, I love the way that you got the effect of the spreading nib with the different sized pearls, or and that I think the one that we had for calligraphia was coral.
It was, and I got really lucky with that because I think it was a graduated necklace at one point, and I was able to have enough material to spell out vote. I was sweating bullets because it was locked down. Gumps no longer had that cache of material available, and I only had a finite amount of beads to work with. So
Wow.
the next one I'd like to do, but I'm not sure I have enough beads, is a mask that says Ola on it in jade. So jade is synonymous with Gumps, but it's also the stone of the heavens and utilized through the centuries for health. And the reason for the word Ola, it's not a vanity thing. Ola means health in Hawaiian, giver of life, the cure. And I think it would be appropriate as a mask and in jade to have Ola across it. And it was kind of interesting because I lived here now for most of my life. And I was just recently back home in Hawaii, and I was with other Hawaiian folks, and we were in a weaving class, and I miss the whole Hawaiian Renaissance. People are now speaking Hawaiian almost sometimes exclusively amongst each other, where, I was taught to assimilate and sound and look and be more American. What was odd to me is when somebody sneezed, they would say "Hola,"
Wow.
and it was kind of weird and cool all at the same time. I kind of, the first couple times I looked, I was like, "Did you need something?" But no, it's a way of saying "bless you."
I was thinking that when you said you were going to do Ola for health, I was thinking that's going to use a lot less jade than Gesundheit.
That's true. Very true. So unless I can fit 3 letters, Gesundheit would, I don't know, that might be a jacket. Oh, thank you for the question.
Well, thank you very much, Billy, for being our presenter today. I really appreciate you doing this. Did I give people your website? Let's see.
Sure, it's pretty easy. It's billyola.com.
Okay, billyola.com.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was a real pleasure to have you today. Our next Blackletter Brunch will be on Sunday, July 9th. And Coral Roars, who is the editor of Friends of Calligraphy's quarterly journal, Alphabet, will be talking about his adventures as the editor of Alphabet, and in particular about a last-minute issue and a last-minute change that he had to make to one of the issues of Alphabet. So that should be very cool. And so anyway, thank you everybody for joining us, and I hope to see you next month on July 9th.
Thank you, Raoul. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you,
Bye.
Raoul.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
really nice. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.